Although Spartan Davis deactivated the device, Dratheus 5 wasn't quite the safe and secure planet it used to be. Suddenly, Spartan Palmer wasn't just fighting off hordes of Covenant. She was heading an evacuation. With so many UNSC craft destroyed by the initial attack, she needed to find an alternate way to get everyone off-world.
Alright, what's up? This is Nak3d Eli, the mostly unclothed gamer. Hope you enjoyed that opening cutscene where we learned last chapter that that's no moon, that is a Death Star. And so the moon is a forerunner structure that can blow up planets. We're on Dratheus 5, which is the planet that was targeted. So even though we shut down the structure early, the planet's still falling apart. We need to head in evacuation, as you saw in the cutscene. So we're going to see some of these jump pack brutes using some brute shots and grenades to blow up the doors in this mission. I want to say that getting gold star on the D missions is incredibly easy for 4 out of the 5, as long as you know what you're doing. So D-3 is going to be the really tough one that you'll see coming up in a bit. So this is Operation Captured Chance, mission D-1, titled Escape from the Southern Fields. And here's the narrative. Across Dratheus 5, the effects of the activation of the moon's forerunner structure were being felt. Enormous slabs of rock were slowly floating away from the planet's surface, and both UNSC and Covenant troops were scrambling to get to safety. Spartan Palmer needed to get every last survivor off Dratheus 5 as soon as possible. But as the planet started to disintegrate, panic rippled through every infantry unit on the field. A coordinated retreat would be impossible. Fighting her way through hordes of fleeing Covenant in a rapidly disintegrating base, she managed to secure jetpacks to get her to safer ground. So I don't know how those jetpacks honestly come into play. We never use a jetpack. I don't really see us picking up a jetpack, but the narrative says we get a jetpack, so that's going to help us out. Now here you need to use grenades and brute shots. These are the only things that are going to open up those doors that we had to target with the red diamonds. And once you go into that door, that ends the mission. So as you can see, if you were doing like a speed run of this and you just wanted to go through all the missions, you didn't care about your score or whether you got a gold star, you could easily just run through that door, end the mission, and move on to D2. However, we want to get a gold star, so what we're going to do is I like to focus on the door first so that I know I can just run away when I want, and then focus on getting a Killionaire down here, farming all the enemies pouring out of the bottom left door. There's an infinite supply until the time runs out, and the enemies get harder and harder, so they're worth more and more points. Now the gold star for this I think is only like 90,000 or 80,000 or something like that. So as you can see, we're just getting really close to it really quickly. Every kill is worth almost 4,000 points on just a grunt. So as soon as we see we've reached like 80 to 90,000, we walk into the door, and that's a easy gold star. Everything's gonna fall apart, and oh, there's our jetpack. We got a jetpack and we just flew away. I had not seen that before. So, okay, we got a jetpack for D2, but we still can't use it in game, which is a little disappointing. So let's see the stats. We've got, what does it say, 80,000 for a gold star. So yeah, you could probably farm up to over 100,000, 200,000 maybe even on that mission, as long as you get into the door before the time runs out. All right, moving on to mission D2. This is Liberation of Faraday. Despite the chaos, some Covenant forces remained rooted in strategic locations within the area around Faraday Base. The few surviving Marines and base staff had set up defensive positions in the western sector of the facility, preparing for a last stand against the increasing influx of Covenant. Spartan Palmer arrived at the base's perimeter moments before... Oh, I screwed that one up. Spartan Palmer arrived at the base's perimeter moments before the Marines would be overrun. Around the base, Palmer managed to secure several elephants. She then needed to relieve the besieged Marines and get them out of their predicament. So in this, we're going to go find our elephants, and then in the next couple missions, we're going to see some elephants and actually a Grizzly tank coming up, which is pretty sick. This mission, we're really just going to move to the units of Marines that are scattered throughout the region, take out all the enemies that pour in as you get to the region, and they're actually relatively easy to kill. Your Marines take plenty of fire if for some reason you're having trouble with the enemies targeting you. And it's relatively easy to link the enemies together in a chain because they're so concentrated in one region. And as we know, the best way to get points in this game is to link together those kills, get the multi-kill going, each kill within 4 seconds of the last. Now as you saw right there, once you hit the diamond, It starts the jump pack brutes coming in. Over here we have a chieftain and a couple of elites. I like to go up top and target the chieftain first because sometimes your marines will kill him and then you won't get the points. But I think right there they actually did kill him and I didn't get the points. Sad day. But then again, this mission's relatively easy to get gold star on as long as you chain the kills together properly. Use your grenades right there like I did to kill the jump pack brutes if they're giving you trouble. And we also picked up a region field here in case you're really getting focused with fire. The region field in this game is incredibly strong. Right there, blowing up that structure just for a nice little extra 500 points. Even if you kill your own turret in this game, you get points, which is a little ridiculous. So we're going to push on forward, take out some of these enemies. Now, since this is relatively straightforward, I want to ask a question in the interim while you watch the gameplay. I don't know the statistics on this, so I was hoping one of you guys knew or knew where to find this data. But I'm curious because it seems like not a lot of people have played Spartan Assault, or maybe Halo players haven't heard of Spartan Assault. And so I was curious if anyone knows the percent of the population that A, has a Windows 8 device that could run Spartan Assault, you know, a PC, tablet, or mobile, and 2, what percent of that population bought Spartan Assault. Because I obviously barely got a Windows 8 device just from winning a tournament at E3. And if I hadn't gotten that, it would have been really difficult for me to play this game. You know, I'd probably ask my friends around who has a Windows 8 phone or something, play it on that, try to figure out how to get that online for you guys. But I'm wondering because it seems like not a very high percentage of people play this game. And I think it's definitely worth the $7 or whatever that it is in the store if you're a Halo fan. I don't know about if I were a non-Halo fan, would this make sense? Would I know what the Spartans are? Would I know who the Jackals and Elites are? I think the target population was Halo fans with Windows devices, and they assumed that since Halo fans play the Xbox, that a relatively high percent of Halo fans would have mobile devices. But as I've read in your guys' comments, you're like, no, I wish this were on the Xbox arcade, right? Why couldn't they have released this for XBLA? Why couldn't they have just made this available on iPhone or Android? And I honestly, I asked the same question at E3. They didn't really give me a good answer, but I think the game itself would have seen a lot more play, a lot more coverage, and would have sold a lot more and just been enjoyed more, since I think it is a fantastic little game, if they had opened it up in that way. So I don't really understand their business strategy. That's why I'm hoping someone could give me those numbers on the population data of Windows 8 devices and people who bought the game. I don't know. If anyone has it, let me know in the comments. Alright, moving on to D3. This is Assault on the Covenant landing zones, and we are in a Grizzly. So Dratheus 5 was ill-prepared for a full evacuation. Many ships had been destroyed in the initial Covenant assault. UNSC command estimated that at best, 40% might reach safety. The rest would die. Spartan Palmer declared those odds unacceptable and hatched a plan to abuse the rapidly degrading Covenant morale to overrun their landing zones and confiscate their spacecraft. The Covenant forces stationed at the landing zones were completely surprised by the bold attack. Already displaying cracks in their morale due to earlier losses, the Covenant forces quickly gave up the landing zones. I mean, yeah, if I were the Covenant and I sent 7 Wraiths at a Grizzly tank and the Grizzly just tore through everything like it is now. It's a double cannon burst tank that is extremely beefy. If you played Halo Wars, you know that Grizzly is the most upgraded form of the Scorpion tank. And I think there was only one guy, what was it, Forge, Captain Forge, who could actually build them. So an incredibly rare and incredibly powerful super unit, and we get to play with it in Spartan Assault, which is pretty cool. Ghosts are going to blow up in basically one attack, and then Wraiths actually blow up in one attack, so we're just going to clear through the fields. I think by the route that I took, the game doesn't expect you to take that route in this mission, so you do get the edge on blowing up some of the ghosts before some of the elites are in it, and you get some extra points chaining together kills before they spread out. I do think that I could have gotten a few more points if I continued on the path to the right earlier instead of going left. I think there was at least one more Wraith that I could have killed. I'm not really sure, but it's something worth looking into because this mission's really difficult to get a gold star on. There's a lot of enemies spread out, and it's difficult to chain them together. So I try my best to give you an example in this guide, but I myself could not figure out like a super solid way of getting that gold star with a huge lead. I barely get it in this mission. So right here, just walked by him with my sprint, didn't even see him until he popped up. And now we have to blow up, I think, 5 fuel rod cannons. So save your grenades up because that's what it's best to use them for. We have the focus rifle to target any elites on the ground. And there's also crates everywhere with plasma grenades. So that's going to help us actually take out these fuel rod turrets and the shade turrets with the pesky grunts on them. So in the meantime, Phantoms are just dropping ships in, and this is their shipyard, right? We want to steal their stuff. Give us your ships so that we can get some humans off this planet, and in the coming missions, we are going to actually transport humans off the planet using the Phantoms. So for the first time, we're seeing Spartan Palmer actually be like, I mean, I know she's a Spartan. I know she's a good person. She means well, but she really came off as kind of like cruel and I would almost say like inhumane in the Spartan Ops series in Halo 4. I just didn't really like her character. I thought she was very linear. She didn't really have a lot of complexity or background. She just seemed to be like the negative Nancy of the group, right? And so this game is supposed to be giving us a little bit more backstory. And since we already had some backstory on some of the other characters in Halo 4, like Lasky through Forward Unto Dawn, right? They wanted to flesh out the characters that I think are going to play a bigger impact in Halo 5. So I'm guessing that Spartan Palmer is going to play a role. I don't know if Master Chief is going rogue and Spartan Palmer is going to be the one who's going to try to like find Master Chief, or I doubt she's going to be targeted with like killing him or fighting him or something, but just maybe having something to do with the Spartan 4s, including Gabriel that we saw in Spartan Ops, somehow play into the main mission. I doubt that they're going to bring Spartan Ops back into Halo 5 just because it wasn't really that successful. People got relatively bored with it, and then once you do the missions, there's no point in going back. They didn't have a good system set up for that. I know they were worth a lot of points, those missions, but at the same time, I felt like Firefight just offered more because it was a generic background for you to just go in and mess around and have fun with your friends. So that's mission D3. You can try to do it a little bit quicker than I did there. You could try to blow up some of the enemies that I might have missed earlier on to get you a few more points. But if you chain the kills and take the route that I took, you will just barely get that gold star for D3. And that was the hardest mission here. The rest of these missions are kind of a cakewalk. Here you start off with a plasma pistol SMG. And we're going to be going through hordes of Covenant. As long as you chain them together, as usual, you get a lot of kills and a lot of points. And that's this mission while you're saving the elephants. So let's read the narrative. Escape from Faraday, mission D4. Strategic locations at the Epsilon Expanse had been hard won, and a rear guard was established at each of the bridge's exit points to cover the convoy of elephants taking the evacuees south. Spartan Palmer knew that taking a slow-moving pack of transport vehicles across a quickly degenerating war zone was not going to be easy. While earlier operations at the Epsilon Expanse had secured access to the Red Slate Plateau, hordes of Covenant were overrunning the area, also trying to get their ships in the south. These forces quickly diverted their attention to the fleeing elephants. So all the Covenant trying to make a getaway, they see some elephants and they go crazy over it. Get me that elephant. No humans will survive if I can survive. That's their mentality right now, and they send tons of suicide grunts, drones, all various elites of various forms, and then in the end we got a ton of jackals as well. So all along the ground there's SMG ammo and frag grenades that are going to help us get through this mission and chain the kills together. The SMG shreds through these little grunts. My tip is to try and get some bullets off on some of the grunts in the background before you blow up the guys at the front, because sometimes they'll kill their teammates and you will not get the points for them if the bullets don't hit them, which is why the SMG is really good for that, since the bullets are spread out and tend to hit a lot of the enemies at once. Now here we have, you like that stick on that red elite right there? Typically if they're running in one direction, the grenades will hit them spot on, but sometimes they're smart and they do dodge it. So since I was so far at the front lines, I kind of left my elephant in the dust, and he took a lot of damage. So right here, I'm just doing my best with the SMG, missing a ton of shots clearly. Gonna blow up this shade turret to continue that spree, get some extra points. And now we're going to move forward and position ourselves in front of the elephant, use our grenades and SMG, which we should have plenty of ammo for if you use the crates, and just blow things up before this elephant runs us over. So I'm going to try and stay in the middle as long as possible to target both sides that are coming out. And as soon as the elephant disappears, you're safe to like walk around, not get killed, and then that's going to end the mission. I think, what was it, 100,000 points was the gold star. So relatively easy if you only need 100,000, and we're like 2/3 of the way past that. We'll see on the teller. Yep, 100,000. So if I could do it, you could do it. That's how you do it. Let me guys know, is this gold star guide helpful? Does anyone need this? I'm just making this because I know that I had difficulty on some missions before figuring out how to do them. So I'm hoping that these are helpful to those of you who are interested. Alright, moving on to mission D-5. This is the last in the chapter, Defense of the Enemy's Airbase. After getting her convoy of elephants safely across the plateau, Spartan Palmer organized the construction of a series of makeshift defense structures in order to protect the ships as evacuees loaded. With a mix of outrage and desperation, the Covenant fought to reclaim their only means of escape. After succeeding in holding off the Covenant infantry, Palmer managed to get 23 Covenant spaceships off the ground. She saved hundreds of lives that would have otherwise been lost. So in this mission, you are playing the hero, Spartan Palmer, who said 40% of evacuees, that's all we can save. No way. I'm going to steal some Covenant ships and get some more people off this base. Save some engineers, marines, and everyone else. Citizens, I don't know who else would be on Dratheus 5. And so here we have created a choke point. This is what they're talking about by the makeshift defensive structures. I like to use the plasma repeater because it takes out the grunts relatively quick, as well as the elites, which it's important to kill both on our way here. Sometimes they'll run through. They're usually going to target that marine before moving forward. I lost the spree right there, as you could see, so there is potential to improve on this run. But like I said, most of these missions are very easy to get a gold star on if you know what to do, and this mission's no exception. We're going to cruise way past the gold star with this guide right here. Now there is the turret on the left that has infinite ammo, and you are more than welcome to use it. However, it will save you ammo. Like right here, I ran into a little ammo problem, and so I'm going to go get the SMG, start shooting some more, and just make this really sloppy, just to see what happens when you're like not watching your ammo. Oh crap, what do? Just go grab some more ammo and keep shooting things. That's really all there is to it. Now there's an assault rifle right here on the ground that I wanted to save for the next section, so we're going to be ending this section pretty soon, and then using this is actually obviously, like I said, the best gun in the game, so use the assault rifle when you got it, and otherwise we have tons of SMG ammo there, and I think we get assault rifle ammo on the next section. Let's go see. There's also some grenades on the bottom of the map if you take a left over here instead of going to the right. However, you might miss some of the enemies over here, and so I would recommend just moving straight over. We already have 9 plasmas from earlier. There's 3 that's what they are. 3 incendiary grenades, the ones that ignite in flames, which are incredibly helpful and do kill tons of enemies at choke points. But I don't think you really need them, to be honest. You have infinite assault rifle ammo on this section, since the assault rifle crates are completely infinite, and you have a buttload of grenades already. I'd recommend just spamming the AR as much as possible for your spree, and we're going to focus completely on this side here first. Once we're done with this, we're going to move on to the left side where the enemies are going to start pouring out. They're going to start sending brute chieftains and all sorts of things to kill us, so that's why I'm sort of moving back. We have tons of assault rifle ammo. I find that the more you pull away from enemies, honestly, the easier it is to hit them, whereas the closer they are, the harder it is to hit them, which is really weird. Like, that's not how normal Halo is. Normally, the closer they are, the easier it is, but that's just how the auto lock-on feature is working in this game. So we're going to adapt to it, and that's how we're going to play it. Now we're going to use our stickies, blow up some of these guys, especially since they're standing so closely together, and then they're just going to keep shooting me. almost ripping my shields off, but like I said in an earlier chapter, you're an extremely tanky Master Chief. You take so much fire in this game, it's a little absurd. I wish it were a little bit more difficult, a little bit easier to die, a little bit more realistic, because, I don't know, the game just came off really easy, and there aren't really difficulty modes to make it any harder. So here we have, finally, some of the Brute Chieftains coming in. If he hits you with that gravity hammer, by the way, that's a one-hit kill. So never, ever get close to them. Or you can try and bait it, like if you've been watching my Covenant zero-shot run or any of those runs, you know how to bait the Brute Chieftains with the hammers so that you can backsmack them. In this game, you just bait them to waste some time and then pull back, and you can, you know, shoot them, clean them up, get the kill, get the points. And so that is it for Chapter D, the 4th chapter in Halo Spartan Assault. You'll see that we aced that mission. You only need 300,000 points, and it is very, very, very easy with the infinite SMG and assault rifle ammo and tons of grenades to get past that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. We have our final chapter with the final boss fight coming up next. That video will be uploaded. You can click on it on the left. And then Spartan Assault codes, we have them all to get you some sweet XP and emblems and concept art. So click on the video for the right if you're interested in that. This is Nak3d Eli. Subscribe for more, and thanks so much for watching.